School starts, it's really around the corner, less than 2 weeks. We've got the Lexington City Schools, Thomasville City Schools, and the Davidson County School System. And most recently, last night, talking about looking at the architectural plans to get underway for the new high school up in the northern part of the county. But something else is on the horizon right here in Lexington. We've got a gentleman from Winston-Salem with us today, Dylan Parks. He's looking at a proposal to bring a charter school to Lexington to give some families some alternatives to the local system. And Dylan, thank you so much for driving down today in this fog, and we appreciate it very much. And,
thank you. Good morning.
How long have you been working on this concept to try to launch a charter school, which I believe you're calling Fortis Academy?
The plan for designing a school in general has been about over a year in the making, and then the actual plan of where to locate it and what's the best location for it that has the most need for it has been within the last 2 or 3 months, since May.
And with the plans, why, you looked around. You're from Rutherford County originally, which is up in the mountains of North Carolina. And from information that I've received here, you started looking around and saying, okay, Mecklenburg County's okay, Wake County, Durham, Forsyth, all meeting the needs. Why did you choose Lexington?
Well, when we look at needs, I'm looking more at just the landscape necessarily, not as in terms of like a fault line. The major counties, Wake, New Hanover, Buncombe, the opportunities are just vast. You have public, private, charter, semi-private. You have this just huge landscape of options for parents that are there. Davidson County, Davie County, and Rowan County, there are a few private institutions. There are no charter options. And this is an option that bridges the line between private and public. It allows for a little more creative freedom with curriculums. It allows for a few other positives that you can't get within the public system and you don't have to pay for to go into the private system.
Now, with a charter school, some people don't understand. It is part of the public school system as such because a charter is granted by the State Board of Education. There was at one time a deadline or a cap, so to speak, of 100.
109, yes.
And then they started relaxing it, and you have more now than the initial number. And so with charter schools, once one is established, then funding is taken from local systems and diverted into the charter system. And we've had an attempt by a group on 2 different occasions, and they met unsuccessfully with the State Board of Education. Yes. Their applications were rejected. So what's different about this? I understand that in your proposal, you're looking at calling this a Health and Wellness Charter Academy.
So I think what's establishing us from everybody else is this fitness and nutrition and wellness component. What we're actually going for is this sort of innovative approach of actually allowing children not only the opportunity to learn about their own physical body and health, so bioenergetics, kinesiology, biology, in motion while they're doing these things. But the real question we're trying to answer is, if I give a child the cleanest food possible, sunlight, fresh air, and a lot of time to move and play and learn in that kind of capacity, what happens? So basically the traditional model where you have a little PE and you have a lot of class time, if we flip that and we give them a lot more playtime and a lot more activity, and then, work that into the traditional classroom model, including movement within the classroom, including physical activities within the classroom, project-based learning, physical project-based learning. A lot of these are kind of cutting-edge innovative techniques that we're working with that are being implemented in New York City, implemented in San Francisco, implemented in some other schools in the South. There's a school in Sarasota, Florida that's doing this. A lot of private schools do something very similar. And then on the nutritional end, we're trying to we have one of the best agricultural states in the country. Bring that stuff, bring those vegetables, bring that food directly to the plate of the students, but keep the education going. So teach them about the vegetables they're eating, how they were prepared, work on some kind of cooking class, have parents come in, have the nutritional program be an educational part of this so that students have access to not only great food and great exercise, but great knowledge about these things for their lifestyles in the future.
And you're looking at a startup of being kindergarten through 6th grade, eventually expanding up to the 8th grade. How many faculty members and how many students would you anticipate in a startup for K through 6?
K through 6, we're looking right now at roughly about 370 to 400 students. And then faculty ranging from 2 to 3 to possibly 4 faculty, depending on which level we're looking at. The younger levels will have a little bit larger classrooms, and then obviously you get older, the classrooms will get smaller and more intimate.
Okay. And with the timetable, this application process is fast approaching because, as we were talking during the song, the state has truncated the application process this year. So when's the deadline? When must you have it in?
Everything must be in by September 26th at 5 p.m. That was a change from being December 31st last year. So it's quite a few months have been taken off the process to streamline it a little bit as the state has moved forward. Then there's a few other hurdles after that. And then once greenlit from the state, we have a whole planning year. And we would open in the fall of 2016.
And during that, after the initial stage that you meet in September of the application, then there's a period of time where you have opportunity for correcting some issues that may be pointed out on the application, and then it gets into the review and then the interview stages before the approval or disapproval.
Yes, there's at least one stage where you have to go through and correct the opportunity. You have an opportunity to correct any mistakes that the state sees directly. Then there's a whole review process. You get through the second round, you're invited for an interview, and then the interview process sort of decides who is granted charter. Last year, there were 71 applications. There were 9 schools accepted. And
do you have any idea how many applicants will be this year, or how many will be accepted, or is that just an unknown?
We won't have any idea until September 26th or 27th, I would assume.
Okay.
How many people have applied this year?
Well, coming up end of September, you'll be making the application. And something else, there will be a community meeting that's coming up tomorrow. Make that Thursday night. That's Thursday night, August the 14th at 7 p.m. at the J. Smith Young YMCA to provide more information for anyone who is interested in finding out more, correct?
I welcome anyone and everyone to come out. The informational meeting is going to be about the school itself, about what our plans and hopes are for the educational landscape of Lexington, as well as about what options a charter school can offer to the city and the county as well. So I welcome anybody to come out and hear us out and have a conversation with us.
Okay, very good. Dylan Parks, the founder of the Fortis Academy, hoping to become the first charter school here in Davidson County. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.